hope you're feeling great. We can't always be on a high. There are some days when something happens to spoil our mood. Well, it looks like Borhan is having the blues. Let's see what's eating him.
Hi, BORHAN. What are you listening to? Hey, what's the matter with you? You look upset. Want to talk about it? Okay then, suit yourself. Hey. Hi.
Babysitting is hard work. Now I know how my mother feels after a day of chasing my kid brother around.
Tell me about it. Did you know I lost my ring? The pearl one, and searched for it high and low. I practically took this place apart, only to find out later Matthew had been playing with it. We finally found it among his toys.
What's wrong with BORHAN? Something eating him?
Your guess is as good as mine. I said hello, but he didn't even answer me.
Maybe he's upset with something. He's usually not this quiet. Shall we try to engage him in a conversation?
I wouldn't bother if I were you. From my experience, it's better to let people come around when they're ready. Otherwise, they'll just bite your head off.
So what do you think of that new girl in our class? I think she's a snob.
Well, I haven't really talked to her. Amy seems to be monopolizing her, hanging around her all the time.
Apparently she's some royalty from Pahang or something.
Oh well, you know people always claim that they're this or that. When you really investigate, they're probably as far removed from royalty as I am from the Queen of England.
Which means they're probably not related at all. I heard though she was complaining about our school. That the classes didn't have air conditioning, that the food stinks in the tuck shop.
Well, she has so many complaints. Why doesn't she just go back from where she came from? I hate people with airs. Okay then, suit yourself.
Suit yourself to do as you please. Usually said in an angry manner when you suggest something to a person, but he doesn't listen.
Babysitting is hard work. Now I know how my mother feels after a day of chasing my kid brother around.
Babysitting, a gerund formed by verb plus ing. Gerunds may be used in place of nouns as a subject of a sentence. Example, babysitting is hard work, or running is good exercise, or singing is a lot of fun.
What's wrong with BORHAN? Something eating him?
Your guess is as good as mine. I said hello, but he didn't even answer me.
Something eating him. Something bothering him. Alina wants to find out if something is bothering BORHAN because he didn't acknowledge her greeting.
So what do you think of that new girl in our class? I think she's a snob.
Well, I haven't really talked to her.
Snob. A proud person who doesn't like to mix with those she thinks are her inferiors.
Well, she has so many complaints. Why doesn't she just go back from where she came from? I hate people with airs.
People with airs. People who put on airs. People who are pretentious.
Hi girls. Sorry, I'm just not in a very good mood.
What's the matter? Got into a fight with the boys?
No, nothing of that sort. It's Aslan, my brother. He's such a pain.
It's funny. Alina and I were just talking about our kid brothers just now. And it looks like you have fuel to add to the fire. Well, what did he do?
He just has this habit of borrowing my stuff without asking me. And then he wrecked them all. It's just so irritating. And whenever I complain, my parents tell me he's younger, so I should forgive him. It drives me up the wall.
I remember your Manchester United jersey last time.
Yeah, remember that? He took it from my cupboard without my knowledge. And I don't know what he did. But it had black oil stains which couldn't come off.
Oh, that's terrible. So what is crime this time?
He messed around with my football magazines. I normally keep them in my room, all in proper order. But when I went home yesterday, the room was strewn with all the magazines. He had cut out all the photos of Beckham.
Didn't your parents tell him off?
It made me so angry, I grabbed him and punched him in the face. He started crying and ran to my mom, who always sides him. It makes me so mad. I'm the victim here, but they make me look like I'm the bad guy.
But the magazines are for the both of you, right? I mean, your dad buys them, right?
No, I buy them with my own pocket money. Azlan knows that I like to keep them intact, and I never cut off any of the pictures, unless it's a pull-out.
I must say that's quite naughty of him. I didn't want to tell you this, but once I called your house and he was very rude on the phone.
Why? What did he say?
He said something like, Borhan is an idiot, and banged the phone down. I guess both of you probably just had a fight or something.
Why didn't you tell me? I'll tell my mom.
I don't know. I forgot about it until just now.
No, nothing of that sort. It's Azlan, my brother. He's such a pain.
He's such a pain. He's a big nuisance.
It's funny. Alina and I were just talking about our kid brothers just now. And it looks like you have fuel to add to the fire.
Kid brothers. Younger brothers. A kid is a baby goat. But in popular English, kid has come to mean a child. Fuel to add to the fire. Something more to add to the grievance or issue being discussed.
It's just so irritating. And whenever I complain, my parents tell me he's younger, so I should forgive him. It drives me up the wall.
Drives me up the wall. Makes me mad, angry.
Not fair. Azlan is my mom's pet, and Johan my dad. I'm the black sheep of the family.
Oh, poor Borhan. That's because you're the eldest and your parents expect you to give in.
But that's not fair. I have to give in all the time. Sometimes I feel like running away from home.
You're not serious, are you? You're only saying it.
No, I mean it. Dad will teach my parents a thing or two. I'm so sick of all this favoritism. I'm going. Azlan is my mom's pet, and Johan my dad. I'm the black sheep of the family.
Black sheep of the family. The odd one out. Someone who is not accepted by the rest.
No, I mean it. Dad will teach my parents a thing or two. I'm so sick of all this favoritism. I'm going.
Favoritism. The showing of a special liking for one person.
Wow, Borhan was really in a foul mood. I don't blame him. I get upset sometimes when my mom asks me to give in to Matthew. But usually he's okay.
My parents are pretty fair. I mean, they do baby Isaac, but they seldom show favoritism where the three girls are concerned. We don't mind, because he's so small. But of course, it gets irritating at times when you are at the receiving end of the stick.
Do you think Borhan means it?
Means what? Oh, about running away? I don't think so. He's probably just saying it in the heat of the moment.
But what if he really means it? He normally opens up to Chandran, but Chandran's still in India. Do you think he's trying to talk to us?
Yeah, what if he actually runs away? Then the grown-ups will ask us why we didn't say anything. And we'll be in hot soup.
Well, we tried to find out what the matter was, but Borhan was just in a foul mood. He didn't want to say too much.
Do you think we should tell his parents or something?
No, Borhan will never forgive us. He won't trust us again with anything if we go running to his parents every time he opens his mouth.
Why don't you come home with me? We can watch a VCD. I've got Charlie's Angels. And perhaps we can call him later to see how he's doing.
Okay, cool.
But of course it gets irritating at times when you are at the receiving end of the stick.
At the receiving end of the stick. Receiving something that's not good. For example, punishment.
Means what? Oh, about running away? I don't think so. He's probably just saying it in the heat of the moment.
In the heat of the moment. When you are angry and not thinking rationally.
Then the grown-ups will ask us why we didn't say anything. And we'll be in hot soup.
In hot soup. In trouble. All these expressions begin with a preposition. Hence, they can also be called prepositional phrases.
I'm glad you're looking better today. You look as black as the ace of spades yesterday.
Yeah, we called you last night. Around 7, but you were not in.
Oh, my dad took us out for dinner. We went out to the Kelantanese restaurant. My dad wanted his nasi ulam.
So, is everything okay? I mean, at home?
Yeah, why do you ask? Everything's fine.
Well, you know, when you left yesterday, you were not in a very good mood. So we thought you might do something stupid.
Like running away from home?
Oh, Dad. No, I was just mad yesterday. But it's fine now. I had a talk with my father, who spoke to my mother. And she apologized.
Your mom apologized? What did she say?
Well, I told my dad how I really felt, that I was being blamed for everything. And it wasn't fair. And how my mom was always taking Azlan's side. We had a long talk, and she admitted that maybe she was being unfair to me.
I'm glad you had that talk. You were so afraid that you meant what you said.
Now would I do such a thing? And give up my comfy bed, my VCDs and Astro? I may have been angry, but I'm not stupid, okay?
I'm glad you're looking better today. You look as black as the ace of spades yesterday.
Black as the ace of spades. A simile meaning very black. Black here means that Borhan was not looking happy, in a bad mood.
Now would I do such a thing? And give up my comfy bed, my VCDs and Astro?
Comfy bed. Comfy is an informal way of saying comfortable.
Well, the bottom line is you're here, and that's important. What were you playing just now? Sounds familiar.
Cheers in Heaven by Eric Clapton.
Oh, that's a nice song. Did you know he wrote that for his son who was killed?
No, really? My guitar teacher just taught me this a few days ago.
Yes, I read it somewhere. The boy was only 2 and he fell off the balcony of the apartment.
That's sad. You have to be so careful with kids when you live in a high rise. That's why my dad never wanted to live in a condominium. My mom always wanted to, because of the swimming pool and the gym. But my dad said no way.
Well, can you play first? It's one of my favorite songs.
Okay, I'm still not very good, but I'll try.
That's pretty good. How long have you been playing the guitar?
About 2 years or so. It's an instrument I really like. My mom sent me for piano classes before, but I hated it.
Oh, I used to go for piano classes too, but I stopped early this year. My mom said I had too many things on my plate.
I'm tone deaf. I can't play anything. How often do you go for your classes? Are there a lot of people in your class?
No, just me and the teacher. A one-on-one.
Put the donkey last, Borhan.
Put the donkey last. What does Alina mean by that? Well, let's hear what Borhan says.
No, just me and the teacher. A one-on-one.
Put the donkey last, Borhan.
What Borhan should have done was put himself last. Hence, he should have said, "It's just the teacher and me." This is a good expression to use to correct someone by implying that he is a donkey for not speaking correctly.
It looks different from the ones you see on TV. On MTV, they're slimmer.
Those are electric guitars. This is an acoustic one. I do have electric guitar as well, but I just started learning that.
What kind of songs can you play?
Mostly by Sugar Ray. Well, you can play rock or pop rock. Anything. Just depends on how good you are.
That's sad. You have to be so careful with kids when you live in a high rise. That's why my dad never wanted to live in a condominium.
High rise. A building with many stories, such as a condominium or an office building.
I'm tone deaf. I can't play anything.
Tone deaf. Unable to distinguish differences of pitch in music.
I wish I hadn't given up my piano now. I feel envious whenever I hear someone else playing a musical instrument.
Well, it's not too late. You can always start again. Have you been to the MPO?
No. What's that?
I know, it's the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra. I've never been to see them, but they came to my school once in Ipoh.
Really? I didn't realize they travel around. I know they usually perform at the Petronas Concert Hall, just beside KLCC.
Have you been to see them?
Oh yes, I go all the time. There was this time a classical guitarist came down from Spain, and I had front row seats. It was really cool. But tell me, Joey, what were they doing in your school?
The MPO has this education program where they tour the country and reach out to students and teachers. They conduct special concerts and workshops to increase awareness and understanding of classical music.
Do they go to all schools?
Well, no. Mine was the only school picked for Ipoh. Students and teachers from other schools attended as well.
That's cool. Was it fun?
Oh yes, I learned a lot. They introduced us to the various instruments and told us something about their history. An orchestra is made up of 4 different sections.
Percussion, brass, woodwind, and strings. I learned that at music class. And the string section, violins, violas, cellos, and double basses from the main body of the orchestra.
What about the piano? Does it feature in an orchestra?
Yes, the piano is a percussion instrument, which simply means anything which is hit to produce a musical sound. It is a pitched instrument because it produces a definite sound, whereas cymbals and drums are unpitched percussion instruments.
What's that trumpet which curls?
I think she's talking about the French horn.
Oh yes, the French horn has an interesting history. Huntsmen found their traditional horns hitting against the trees, so they modified it by curling the pipe.
Huntsman? What's that?
Oh, the nobles in Europe used to hunt foxes while riding horses. They used special hunting dogs, and the horns were used to call the dogs.
That's such a cruel sport.
I agree, almost as bad as bullfighting. Right, Borhan?
Okay, Borhan, we'll leave you with your guitar for company. We've got to go for a Leo meeting. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye. Hey, look what came in the mail. A postcard from Chandran.
That's nice of him. He remembered us after all. By the way, I forgot to thank you guys for the letter you sent me while I was in Kuching. My dad made a trip to Kuching yesterday and he brought back the letter.
We wanted to email you, but didn't have your email in Kuching. So, is your grandma up and about now?
Yes, my dad says she's improved a lot and is walking about. She's 70, so she really should be taking it easy.
So, what did Chandran say? Come on, why don't you read it out loud?
Okay. Hello, Borhan, Julie, and Elena. Greetings from the subcontinent. The plane ride was very thrilling. My first time. India is just unbelievable. The sights, sounds, and smells. There are so many people, and I thought Kuala Lumpur was crowded. We are busy with the preparations for my auntie's wedding. I thought I saw Shah Rukh Khan in the airport, but I'm not sure. Your friend Chandran.
Who's that he mentioned? Some film star, I suppose?
Yes, he's the latest darling of Bollywood, whom the girls go gaga over.
Oh, I know who you mean. The one that sings that famous song, right?
Kuch kuch hota hai.
I'm surprised you know so much about Hindi movies. And what's Bollywood?
That's a nickname for Bombay. You see, Bombay is the film capital of India. So it's now referred to as Bollywood, as in Hollywood. My mom watches the Hindi movie on Saturday afternoon sometimes. So I catch it once in a while.
They say that there are close to 10 million people in Bombay alone. Can you imagine? And about 1 billion in the whole of India.
That's way too much. I think the population of KL is less than 1.5 million. And already the traffic jam are so bad.
You're right. Most of the Asian capitals are bursting at the seams. Jakarta, Manila, Tokyo. I guess we're lucky we're living in KL.
So, is your grandma up and about now?
Up and about. In good health, not confined to the bed.
Hello, Borhan, Julie, and Elena. Greetings from the subcontinent. The plane ride was very thrilling. My first time.
Subcontinent. A landmass that is big but smaller than a continent.
Yes, he's the latest darling of Bollywood, whom the girls go gaga over.
Darling. Idol. Someone who is worshipped by his fans. Go gaga. To be infatuated or crazy about someone.
You're right. Most of the Asian capitals are bursting at the seams. Jakarta, Manila.
Bursting at the seams. Overcrowded. Containing a big number.
Do you know that they kill baby girls in China because of the one-child policy?
What do you mean, one-child policy?
Well, China is the most populous country. Its population has surpassed 1 billion already. The government had to control this population explosion somehow, and so started limiting couples to 1 child each. And because traditionally, Chinese prefer sons to daughters, some couples kill off their daughters so that they can try for a son.
That's so horrible. How can the governments allow that?
They don't, but I guess it's hard to control. China is so big.
Yes, and there's many villages that are so far away that government officials cannot really police it effectively.
I read somewhere that there are more boys than girls as a result.
Yes, due to this practice, one study says that there's about 4 to 1 boys to girls of marriageable age. And many men are finding it hard to find a wife.
Is it the same in India? This limiting couples to 1 child?
No, but girls are discriminated against also. The girl's family has to give a dowry to the boy when a marriage takes place, so girls are seen as a burden, especially if the family is poor.
Oh well, I'm glad I'm not born in India or China.
Me too, otherwise we may not be here today. Do you know also that before, widows in India had to jump into the fire alongside their husbands?
Come on, Jolie, that's a tall one.
No, it's true. The Hindus cremate their dead on a funeral pyre, and the woman was forced to throw herself into the fire.
Yes, it was in the book Far Pavilions. I read it, and the British outlawed it when they ruled India. It's called sati.
You know, throughout the ages, women have been bullied by men. It's only now that women in most countries enjoy freedom.
Yes, women were subjected to lots of harsh rules and practices, like foot binding.
Like what?
Well, in ancient China, it was thought that small feet were a sign of beauty. So high-class women had to wrap their feet up in bandages to stop them from growing.
It's so unnatural. Imagine the pain they must have suffered. The bone was bent inwards so that the feet would look dainty. I read that in The Wild Swans.
It's amazing the things you can learn from books. You girls sure seem to know a lot.
I love reading, especially about other cultures. You'd be surprised at the information you can pick up.
Whenever I go to the bookshop, I find myself either drawn to the football magazine or ghost stories, never novels.
You and your ghost stories. You should move on to something more meaty.
Have you read Harry Potter?
No, is he any good?
Oh yes, I can lend you if you like. I have all four. The first one is the Philosopher's Stone. Do you know that it's been made into a movie?
Yes, I'm dying to watch it. And Lord of the Rings is coming too.
We must plan to catch this movie sometime. Okay, Borhan, I'll bring my Harry Potter book for you tomorrow. Yes, due to this practice, one study says that there's about 4 to 1 boys to girls of marriageable age.
Of marriageable age. Age when people usually marry.
You and your ghost stories. You should move on to something more meaty.
Something more meaty. Something with more substance or value. Okay, so you learned something about customs in other countries, such as India and China. It's amazing what books can teach you. So start reading avidly today.